Hello, everybody. Welcome to Maximum Libertarian live here on YouTube and X. As always, please go to MaximumLibertarian.com, and that's how you can help out growing this channel. Tonight, I'm joined with the one and only Dean.
How y'all doing?
So, how have things been going for you, my friend?
Been a little nuts. Can't complain though. Back working my part-time job, or with Rosie's, I should say. Oops, wrong thing. Shouldn't have said that, but okay. They don't know what I work
Right.
where. People. Back to that. Health's doing better. Doing my weather stuff. That's picking up. So it's just going crazy. Trying to get watching all this political BS about the shutdown and SNAP and all that, which I think is what we're going to discuss tonight. And then we have, just normal stuff coming up to this upcoming Wednesday with Steve and Kayla. Going to pound him with the hard questions, just like we did Paul Dar, to see what's going on with the LNC, because they are a freaking mess.
Well, before before the discussion with Steve and Kayla on November 5th, we've got the November 4th election.
That's right.
Here in Virginia and New Jersey. We've got some governor races. I guess we're the only two states that have these big, off cycle years after the presidential election. And obviously we'll get to that in a few minutes. But initially you wanted to talk about, you said, let's do this because, this November 1st, the SNAP benefits ends. And, I will let you have the floor with what you would like to discuss about it.
Let's discuss this. As libertarians, we don't, we would love to have the government closed, the IRS not open. Let me tell you, my federal taxes just got took out of my paycheck. I don't know about you. So they're still nailing us for things. Yes, it was good that Trump and then they laid off and got rid of all these IRS people. We need to shrink the IRS in other places. But we also have an issue where SNAP is, which is a nutritional, people with low income that need food, basically. Children's mothers that close WIC on some things. That goes a little bit further down the line, but if it keeps closed. But we as classical libertarians or believe that we're classical liberal, and we're not talking about the party or the caucus, we're talking about what you and I are, Brian, which are classical liberals in the sense of what we believe as a libertarian in libertarianism. We do believe in a small social safety net. Yes, it'd be better not to be a government program, but let's point this out. When this goes away on November 1st, luckily in Virginia, I'll go into that in a minute, for many states around the country, there's going to be no available money for them to get their food. In Thanksgiving, during November, getting colder, around the holidays, there's a couple states like ours in Virginia that we have a good governor that stepped up and took the surplus, which he's actually been doing a good job keeping a surplus, and putting it towards the benefits for Virginians. And it's going to be a little different where they're only going to get a quarter every week, which I believe if we want to reform the SNAP program, that would be a better way, so they won't buy all the food all at once and spend it on junk. They would be able to be better at budgeting. Maybe that would teach them some stuff. But my issue with that is that all these people are going to go without food, mainly the elderly and children and single parents that have no, I know people that are on it, they're just going to have nothing starting November 1st. If you're not in a state that like Virginia or Louisiana, I believe is the second one, that have people, governors that were smart with their money and actually have money to put into the SNAP program. Otherwise, nationally, you have the government shut down. You have the Democrats stating this is that Trump has the White House. The Democrats have, the Republicans have the House, and they also have the Senate. True. But the problem is this is a 60 vote issue, not a 54 vote issue. We only have 54 seats. That means 6 Democrats are sitting there keeping the doors shut. They're the ones that are sitting back and hurting the people. And this party it's not just Schumer, it's more like AOC. The socialist wing is really gripping onto the Democratic Party, and it's getting worse and worse. We're going to see something ugly in New York City starting after Election Day and starting next year, when there's an actual socialist/communist mayor likely in the city of New York, in the biggest city in the country. So that's an issue. I think Schumer's scared because AOC is going to probably come for a seat if she don't run for president. Let's see. So all this is going to happen. You're hurting the federal employees, like the National Weather Service. We're not just talking about the federal employees that we could get rid of, like IRS and all these other things. We're talking about like the National Weather Service, people that actually take care of saving people's lives are going to be hurt without pay. The troops are being hurt, and then these low income people on SNAP. Like, how ridiculous is it that your government can't operate clean, get a clean CR, which is just a piece of paper saying to open the government so they can fight each other's problems, but the government open. No, they choose to keep it closed. If the Democratic senators choose to keep it closed, I think it'll reopen, but I think it'll be after the election. I think they're playing this as a political tool. It is a political tool, but this is what my belief is. They're trying to get this healthcare cut, this blaming that. They want the illegal immigrants to get free money and healthcare, and they want transgender stuff with transgender stuff with kids and stuff. It's just ridiculous what these crooks on the left are trying to do. And like I said, I'm a libertarian. I care less about either party, but it's in black and white this time. Who's the real reason that they're going to sit there and starve kids and starve low-income families, the people that are supposed to be sitting and protecting as a Democratic Party? That's what they always believe in. That even one of the biggest unions has turned against them, if that doesn't tell you something. So that's crazy. Unions are Democrats. They go Democratic all the time. But for one of the biggest unions, I can't remember which one it was, turning on the Democratic Party, that tells you a lot.
Right.
So what's your thoughts on it, Brian?
Okay.
You've been in the military. What is your thoughts?
Well, when it comes to it, I don't want to see it just ended like the way that it is. I do find this is to be a political game of chicken. And I think they're using the citizens, the voters, as I've said in the past. This is what you get when you continue to vote for just the Republicans and the Democrats. You get phony individuals that are pretending to care about their constituents. They don't care. As you've said, the clean CR bills and blah, blah, blah. The stuff that they're trying to pass, these guys voted for previously. Now, all of a sudden, they don't want to vote for the Obamacare subsidy that they're wanting to save was already written into the bill, from my understanding, to sunset at the end of the year. So right. They wrote the bill that way. So this wasn't a surprise. I saw a meme earlier today, and it said to some Obamacare up in it's to take tax dollars and pay and subsidize health insurance that's already things that you can't pay for. So, they didn't fix the issue. They just subsidized it, and they took the taxpayers' money. And now everyone has this fantasy that it needs to be paid, and they're really working hard for them. I don't want to see if we were, which may and may not happen, is on November 1st, if SNAP goes away and then people start rioting in bigger cities or even here, it's possible. I hope it don't happen. But I think if more than anything, we need to be sitting here saying we need to start giving solutions to how to get people out of this. And like number one, when you see in some states, like if you get, we'll just use $500 in SNAP benefits for the month. If you use $100, you still have $400 on there. It should just refill to $500, not hey, let's refill it. Let's give you another $500. So now you have $900. Because you've bound to have seen the stories where like there was like one individual who had $13,000 on their SNAP card.
Yep. Now here's the thing.
This is insanity right there. And just little things like that we could fix, but they don't want to. So, but as a libertarians, what we should be doing is talking about things, how to get people off of like what's causing this. If it's usually, as I said, the Democrats and Republican, they've done their policies that have weakened the dollar. So now, we go out and you'll buy a gallon of milk and some eggs and just a few little things, and it's up to $50. That's courtesy of the Democrats and Republicans. So you need a strong dollar. That's number one. And you can't keep, so you need to cut the printing press off. Right now, the only Republican that has any backbone is Rand Paul. He's voted against this. He's joined the Democrats. So whenever they talk about needing 6 people, that's the reason they need 6 people, is because Rand Paul is the only Republican. But Rand Paul will probably get primary, just like Thomas Massey, the only true American first, the only true MAGA Republican, I believe, in Congress right now. I mean, there's a few that are okay, and we could probably go down the list, but for the most part, Thomas Massey and Rand Paul are good people.
So here's the thing.
But yes, go ahead.
Here's the thing that I also threw out there to people on my Facebook, and I love it. I'm stirring this pot, and I'm seeing where people stand, including libertarians in the National Party. So I'll go into that in a minute. But here is an interesting one for you. I throw out there we need term limits, and that is extremely, extremely popular. But why doesn't it ever get brought up in the states to be put on the ballot? Like, that's something we need to put on the ballot, because you know what? There's such a hunger, it seems now, for term limits, especially what they're seeing now with the shutdown. This might be the time we really had to push for term limits so we can get these idiots that are in there out. I think this is going to.
Well, if you want my personal opinion, I think term limits should go from the top down. I mean, we should go down to even state representatives and possibly even into our city government. I mean, if you look at just how Roanoke is ran, it's ran horribly by Democrats, and they continue to get reelected because the voters continue just to go out and go, hey, what color is my favorite, red or blue? Not, hey, who's the best to lead the city?
They got one on the Republican side, finally got into the council, but he's really outnumbered. It really isn't a Democrat. Yeah. It's not really Democrats. They're Democratic socialists. Call them who they are and what they are. They are not the normal Democrats prior to 2008, I'd put. Obama came in, the Democratic Party went socialist, and it's gotten worse and worse ever since. You can debate me on that all you want. They need somebody like Brian to be on city council so he can go in there and give some common sense to these idiots.
Well, I think what you need, though, is I think every idea should be thrown onto the table. I think libertarians probably have better ideas than the other two parties, but since our ideas are never able to be even experimented with, and when they are, I mean, like example, people talk about like legalization of marijuana. Oh, that's cool, but states that are like Jersey or New York or California, they've just turned the black market into a bigger black market because they don't know how to run it. They try to tax everybody into out. Like look here in Virginia, they said, all right, you can do medical. Now before they were setting up the medical marijuana shops, you had to put in a $50,000 deposit, non-refundable. So you may be one of the 4 people that get to open up a shop. That's a scam. Who would do that?
Even bigger is 172 vape shops today were raided. 100
right.
Illegal marijuana sales. And it's not the only thing that they were selling. They had meth, they had coke. I mean, they were selling lots of stuff. A couple of them in Roanoke County, or I read. So, I mean, but marijuana should be legal. It is legal if you're up to, I think, what is a gram, and you can quote unquote gift it to somebody. You can't sell it. Still, you have enough too much, you're still going to get charges on distribution and stuff like that. Obviously, the smoke shops were distributing it, and they got really rammed up.
Right.
But I don't know. This is getting ridiculous. And like you said, the Libertarian Party, like, I got to see something about term limits, but I also got to see stuff about this shutdown. Our national party is never going. I think we're in a place where it's ugly. It's going to stay ugly because even some of the people that are in places of power in the national are one side or the other. They don't care to get along anymore. I said the other day on the SEC meeting, the state's in pretty good shape, but the federal, we got to have a real discussion on, and the delegates on what they want this party to be. Because if it doesn't, in 2026, if the delegates get somebody bad, it might be the end of the party. Honestly, it's a no bullshit thing. Because if we keep going the road we're down right now, it's going to get uglier. And it sucks because people like Angela McArdle on one side, she went all MAGA, and just like from the interior, pissed off the left, and the left is sitting there not doing their job. And we have too many accusations. There's too much infighting. That's the worst part about this party, is the infighting part. If we could be like the state party, we get along, we spend money responsibly, we use it for good reasons. We help other people, like we're trying to get a thing going for Steve Porter. That's something I'll discuss afterwards. Try to get him some help because he's been laid off from his job and had a house fire. I mean, as libertarians, we jump in. That's when we jump in to help. When I was bad on my luck, libertarians jumped in to help me. They were mainly the people that would donate to when I had issues with my foot, like when I first had my amputation. And I'm so thankful for that, because you know what? It shows the realness of people and the realness of the libertarian philosophy and how people think. I don't know where we go from here. Like I said, this states, in most of these states, November 1st hits, and you're right, it's going to be a civil war because people are going to get mad. They're going to start stealing robbing people, stealing people. People are going on TikTok saying they're going to rob and steal people, their neighbors and stuff. So it's in grocery stores. So it's going to get ugly. Now, maybe not bad here because, like I said, here we have the governor who has kept a good surplus and has help coming to these people that they can get food. But further down the line nationally, if they don't do this, about halfway through the month goes WIC, which is then women and children's issues. And this is how pathetic our government is. And like you said, Rand Paul always stood up. He's always been different. He's like his dad in some ways, not always. He's more Republican than his dad. But him and Thomas Massie are really the best Republican senators we have right now in there. I think Chuck Schumer's scared, and he's doing what he's doing because AOC is telling him to do it, because he's worried that AOC is going to jump him for his spot in the Senate because she's only in the House. And she's definitely been sniffing around for a presidential run or vice presidential run with Kamala Harris. So, down goes the socialist communist. And that's what they're being. Because think about it, socialism and communism, it's about government controlling the people. And what are they doing? Controlling the people.
Right. Well, I think she'll get some type of energized with Mondani running in New York with him. And if he wins, definitely that sector of the Democrats, they've been hijacked by the Democratic Socialist of America. So
there is a road.
The sad thing is, the problem one thing that I'll constantly watch, and I've said it time and time again, is it seems like Republicans just giggle it off. And then they also will make these dumb statements of, I hope Mondani wins. And that way the folks will see how bad it is under this guy.
So I saw something.
And
I saw something really sick today too, bringing up the things how people are. Nick Freitas, he brought up a video, and I wish I could pull it up, but they pulled them back in because they want to do redistricting again because, God forbid, the Democrats want more land. That's what all this is. But he's talking about when they do something special when people die, they stand up and adjourn in the memory of. Well, he went up there and did in the memory of Charlie Kirk. Not one Democrat stood up. But when one of the Democrats went up there, I guess one of the leaders went up there and did it on what's the name of the lady that died in Minnesota? Every single Republican stood up and clapped for it. That's where this country's going.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I always like Nick Freitas because he's
we are definitely in a period where it's going to be really, really bad if we don't pull up. We're headed directly for the mountain. I don't know how it would break up, honestly, but to me, it's we're in a bad time, I think, and I hope to see. I hope to see us correct this, and I think the only way we can correct this, one of the things. Are we done with the snap talk?
Yeah,
I don't want to. Okay. Yeah, and if we go back to it, we go back to it. It's fine. But earlier today, I went and voted, and we'll just pull it up real quick. Let's see, where's my mouse at? There we go. We'll add it to the stage. You spoke about it. Abigail Spanberger. She's back the Virginia legislature's redistricting push. I saw Sam Razul, and I told him, I said, I was very disappointed. I said, this is all the candidates we had on the ballot.
Yep.
I said, I'm sick of it. I said, it's exhausting because, there's a lot of people in this area that should be running against Sam Razul. There's a lot of people. There should not be treasurer, commissioner of revenue, and there was Commonwealth's attorney. All three of them positions was write-in. So they have won their seat. They don't need to be out there, but they're out there, but no one's running against them. And I started to talk about, and I asked them, I said, do you support the redistricting? As this lady, who will probably be our next governor, more than likely, if everything plays out, she will be our next governor. She backs this redistricting. I told him, I said, it's very disgusting to me that we have the Democrats and the Republicans. Oh, well, the Democrats are doing it. We've got to do it. Well, the Republicans are doing it. We've got to do it. That's not how you lead. And one of the things that Sam was telling me, he's like, well, you got to go through this whole process of, it goes from this point and then we have an election, and then we have it brought to the voters, or then we go to have another election, and then it can be done. We've already voted to have a non-commission, a commission to do the redistricting that's supposed to be a bipartisan redistricting. Of course, that's a joke, but that's another story. But he's saying the story to me, and I don't think about it till afterwards. But my statement to him was straight up. I said, I said it's just bad news. I said, but what I should have said. Excuse me, I had my train of thought went away. I had to try to think about it again. But what I should have said to him when he goes, I voted to move it along. I should have said, why do you vote for ideas that are bad? Okay. And that's what our officials do. They vote for bad ideas. There was a story I just heard on a podcast from Obama, and they were talking about the corporate tax rate. His statement was, and they're like, hey, if you lower the corporate tax rate, we generate more money, so forth and so on. It's better for us, better for the country. His statement was, I know that, but it's the optics. So this is a better idea, but my base, you allow your base to be taught that socialism is the good thing. You allow your base to understand that communism is the bad thing. It's ridiculous to me. And it's like, at what point will these friggin' elected officials start making comments? Don't go, oh, well, I'm going to do it because everybody else does it. No, you vote for something that's good. You vote against something that's bad.
You have the balls and you stand up to something you don't believe in. And that's the thing.
Right.
Sam is a good guy overall.
Go ahead.
As a human being, Sam Rizzo is a great person. As a human being, I've refereed his child soccer. I've talked to him on many times. Good human being, horrible politician. Then I've talked to people like David Sutterine, which is a state senator. We can have a good conversation about libertarianism. And he believes in some libertarian values, but he's a Republican, obviously. And just like you were saying, they jump in, they back MAGA, whatever, and they don't stand on 2 feet. The only person I could think that stood on their own 2 feet, when we talked to him, at least, we had him do when he was running, we had him do the world's smallest political quiz, and that's the Roanoke County Sheriff Orange, where he actually scored Libertarian and admits to being a Libertarian. And honestly, if you look at the Roanoke County Sheriff's Department, how that's been operated, it's been operated pretty darn good. But that's what you get when you have someone that has a libertarian mind and not just clouded by the Republican Party.
Right.
So that's how I believe there. I mean, Spanberger's a mess. I hope she doesn't win. I mean, but the optics look like it's going to happen. Sears is definitely the better of the two. Definitely need to make sure in our that Miaris stays, because the other guy wanted to kill people. I mean, wanted to kill. Man, straight up had it, went 160 on 64. Got away with it because of who he knows. I mean, honestly, that guy just needs to go. So Miaris can stay, as far as I'm concerned. If the other ones don't win, at least if we keep Miaris in the AG office, we keep some things going right. And on the House of Delegates floor, and a lot of things we're not going to want. We're going to be influenced and hitting us again.
Well, I hope Maynard Keller wins against Sam Rizzo. I don't have any faith that Sam Rizzo will lose. But I did speak to him. He was starting to talk about, because I was saying about how I disliked the redistricting. And I said that I was not, I said there's not enough people on the ballot in there. And I said, and then I brought up ballot access. I said, hey, ballot access we need to get that under control so more people can get on there. Because I talked about Tim Kaine running a $250 million, for the U.S. Senate, or $1 billion for U.S. president. If me and you got angry and we said, all right, we're running for Senate, good luck. Unless you're planning on winning the lottery that's, $759 million. That's the only way you're even going to get an opportunity to run against Tim Kaine, because you're going to have to force yourself on, or Mark Warner, whoever runs. I guess Mark Warner is the next one to run. But that's the only way you're going to be able to have any, because you're going to have to pay for media exposure. The media, once you start buying ads, they will give you coverage. It's a payola system. It's very true. I do believe in that. But he started talking about ranked choice voting, and I brought up the 5-star voting system. We had Anna Kellen on just 2 weeks ago, and she started to talk about it. And I said how I was a very big supporter of ranked choice voting. I will gladly say, hey, do the 5-star voting program. That would be a better fit for voting. It's not that hard to understand unless you're just stupid. But that's it. And he was very interested in hearing more about it. So he gave me his card and he asked for me to send him information. I'm going to send information to Annie, and hopefully he can get some info from it. And then I think that's a project that I would like to see the Roanoke Valley Libertarians take on, is start pushing, because we got to get more voters out there, because in Roanoke, more people stay home than actually come out and vote. Why are they staying home is because they look at the candidates and go, I don't like R, I don't like D, I don't like this person, I don't like that person. Hey, and this person's not running unopposed. So why am I going to, what's the point in coming out and wasting my time for that one? But I did make I voiced my opinion about the redistricting, which I think, which her saying that she supports it, in my personal opinion, is a disqualified. She should be disqualified because she has no brains. I'm sorry. I think it's gerrymandering. You're going against the will of the people, and this is the cheating that everyone talks about.
So what you have is what do you call it? So you said you got what's his name, Somersville's card. Well, at least you have updated contact information for him, so we can hit him.
Yeah, and I think I will do that. I
think me and you both.
He's a nice man. When I talk to him, I've talked to him at the American Legion when he's come up there. He's fine. You talked about having discussions with him, coaching his or reffing his kids during soccer. He's a fine guy, but just because you're a fine guy don't mean you're a good delegate. You don't get to ruin you ruin my life with your ideas.
Correct.
You ruin other people's lives. That's what bothers me. All these fine folks that are out there just saying, yes, we're going to help the poor. You're not helping the poor when you keep them poor by chopping their feet off. But then you go, it's the old meme. Hey, let me break your leg and I'll give you a crutch. And you say, don't you glad we're there? Otherwise, you wouldn't have his crutch. And that's what they've done with SNAP. SNAP is a system that was set up that really, let's be honest, I don't want to see hungry people. I don't care if you're 109 or if you're little kid. It's all the same to me.
Yep.
Life is life. I don't want to see you starve. But when you put people in these positions and you're like, well, you've got to put money into your Social Security account. Well, if I want to put it into an ETF or Bitcoin or something other than Social Security, nope, you've got to take Social Security because it's a Ponzi scheme and it's already dying because they've added too much nonsense to it.
It's sad. It is sad.
Yes, it's sad, but I do hope to see more libertarians step up. I don't know what's going to happen in the future with the party, like you were saying earlier, the disarray that it's in, the fights that we're in, fights that shouldn't even be a fight. We're actually in spots where we should be like, hey man, we're now ahead of this because the stupid Democrats and Republicans are fighting for nothing.
Exactly right.
So,
wonder.
So, what are you looking up there?
I was just looking up New Jersey, and we're talking about the race for the governor and all that. So that you said New Jersey had a race, and there's a Libertarian on the ballot there. His name is
and he seems like a good guy. The news media, Lana, what's that her name? Lana Lagia.
Yep.
We spoke with. She. What was his last name? Ken what?
Is Vic Kaplan is his name.
What's that?
His name is Vic Kaplan, the guy that's running for.
Okay, Vic Kaplan. Okay, well, I had Ken in my head, but she put out an article, or she shared an article on her social media about showing how this news organization was talking about how the third parties are getting screwed, no media attention and stuff. It's like the news organization. That's the story. Hey, we don't cover third parties. We screw them over. And it's like,
got lucky to get with Joe.
I don't care. You're in a position you can fix it. Start covering third parties. It's like when I hear, I know I said this before, man. I've told this story before to people. My brother was once talking about how Rob Goldage, the guy from Illinois, he went to jail. He was on Trump's Apprentice. He was the governor of Illinois. He was the one who got in trouble because he was trying to get special things for, hey, if you want to be the senator to replace Obama, then you give me this or whatever. I believe that's what the charge was. He went to jail. And but then he came on Joe Rogan and he's talking about all the scandals, and now you're not in position to fix anything. It's like now you're having your come to Jesus moment and tell everybody how we're getting screwed over. Like, fix it while you're in position. Don't get out of the position and go, oh, I gotta leave the House of Representatives because it's a corrupt system up there. Oh yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
True that.
Fix it. But hey, who am I, right?
Who are any of us to say that? The one we should be really pushing is Dave Krantz. He's in the 13th district.
I think Dave Krantz is going to be, I hope, and he's running, it'll be him against the Democrat, correct?
I believe right now. I believe that is the truth. Yeah.
I've got to find out. I wish if I had more time, I would go up there and help, but I wasn't certain what was going on with my work schedule. And I would really like to go help, because I think if you live in the area, if you're near a libertarian or an independent that you like, that's the final spot. If you go out there and hand out flyers, hold the signs, whatever, I think that's one of the last final things. And you're needed. And I've seen when I work, and you've found it when you work a precinct, you see it's an uptick of people who vote for your candidate.
That's a true statement. The precinct I worked for my election, the same difference. Like, hit good there. Did you know that Dave Krantz has a campaign mascot?
No.
Yep.
What is it?
His dog Zoe.
Oh, that's nice.
Bringing a dog around, helps give. That's going to help bring people in too. People love animals. It's like if you took your cat out, if you're running for office, you took your cat out and put a shirt on him for Brian Heiner for city council.
Right.
All right, garner some votes.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, here's another story I'd like to get to real quick. So did it come up? Let's see. There it is. Yes. All right. So it's already 2025, not even a full year, and they've already started doing polls. Who is the front running Democrat, do you believe? And it's not, and obviously you can see it's not Governor Newsom.
AOC.
And you would be wrong. The possible candidate scored 4% higher than the California governor. It's the only. Pete Buttigieg is right now the preferred Democrat candidate for the 2028 election on the presidential side for the Democrats. In the early primary state of New Hampshire, according to this new poll from the University of New Hampshire. if you look down here in the article, it says 81%. See, if the Buttigieg, if the election was held today, while 81% of those surveyed favorable opinion of him, he topped Governor Newsom by 4% and AOC by 5%.
I knew she was up there.
Now, who do you think the Republicans are favoring?
The guy that's the governor of Florida would be one. Vance would be one, and I do believe Donald Trump's son is going to be one of them.
Well, right now it's J.D. Vance. He's over top of Nikki Haley and Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard obviously came from the Democrat side. Could she win the nomination from the Republicans? I doubt it. But I tell you, I would put her as a vice presidential candidate probably. I would love to see her run as a libertarian, but God knows if we brought her over, we would have so much trash to deal with. I mean, if you're going to bring people over, in my opinion, I like her foreign policy. That's what I like about her.
She'd be good. Heck, Linda McMahon could get in that if you really think about it.
Don't think it holds Linda McMahon back. I think more than anything, it's one, she didn't have a successful bid for Senate up in Connecticut, but that didn't matter. Her age. I think we're getting into the point of I don't hold anybody like if you're 80 years old, you can still be a ball of fire. And I think Trump somehow, some way at 80 years old, he still does a lot.
He does. That's the man, but man, when he says something he's going to do, he's going to do it too. Don't ever say he ain't going to do what he says he's going to do, because God forbid he's done a lot. Is what he said he's going to do. He's got he's got the Middle East calm for the time being. He's got Russia underneath, his fist right now. The South Koreans, I'm sure Kim Jong-un is, or whatever his name is scared shitless of him. So
the only thing that I have one of my big issues with Donald Trump right now is them bombing the boats that are coming out of Venezuela, and that they've, if you listen to Rand Paul, he said that some of the boats weren't carrying drugs that they said was carrying drugs.
Of course.
They've now got I think we're sending an aircraft carrier down that way.
Yep.
My biggest issue is I'm afraid that what this is not hey, let's worry about the drugs, but it's more, hey, let's worry about let's do some regime change, down there in Venezuela, and that never works out good for us when you have individuals go down there and want to make regime change. Just ask, Iran,
Iraq,
Afghanistan.
Yeah, let's keep.
But Iran was the big one where we took, we knocked over someone who did not like the United States. We knocked them over and installed someone else, and then in the 70s they came back in full force, and now all of a sudden they're the horrible people of Iran or whatever. And whenever I hear, and this is something I think people should say, I think whenever you hear Saudi Arabia is, I think, more than they get led onto, because they don't like Iran because they're the wrong sect of Muslims, from my understanding.
Yep.
And so in turn, they want Israel to go over there and bomb them. They want us to go over there and bomb them because they're the wrong sect of Muslim, and they can install the right sect of Muslims.
Correct.
So
absolutely correct. It's regime change. Like you said, doesn't ever work. I mean, we were paying Osama bin Laden. Look what he did to us. I mean,
Absolutely.
You got
And then once again, right there, if you just talk about 9/11, well, that was Saudi Arabia, but we went into Afghanistan and Iraq for some reason.
yeah, who has a lot of money is freaking Saudi Arabia.
So, but yeah, I just find that what we've got going on right now is really bad. But I do dislike the idea that Snap's going to go away. They don't have any type of plan to fix it, which is sad and disturbing to me. But it's not a shock because it's the federal government. I think it's time for churches to stand up and start being a church again. Because and the reason that a lot of the churches have stopped doing it is because the government took that power away from them. But that's the whole idea of them getting the tax for, they don't pay taxes because you're going to be helping the community. You're using all that money to help the community. Now you're not helping the community. Yeah, you help the community, but I like churches, so I like my church. So I mean, but I do understand that the government's got their little greedy paws into so much.
Yep, I don't see where any of this goes good for people in the next couple of days. What do you think, though, on the aspect what I said about after the election? Do you think that's when the Democrats and Republicans finally pull together and say "fuck this"? Or
yes,
yeah.
this is all for show and for trying to get political points. But we're now back in the day, I think you could have done it just 20 years ago when the internet was still relatively new. I think the Democrats could have said, "Oh, it's the Republicans' fault," or the vice versa. The Democrats could have said, or Republicans have said, "Oh, no, it's Democrat now." But now everyone can go online. They can go, "Hey," they know they're being screwed with, but they continue once again to vote for the same trash. So in turn, I think if you're watching this and you're not me or Dean, if you have someone else on your ballot, vote for them. I mean, I know some of them, God knows, libertarians like to put up some whack jobs. But if you can find a good person, you need fresh ideas. You need to change the system. And I'm not talking about changing the system to socialism or communism, because you're just leading yourself down this horrible road.
Well, doing that,
you're putting your hand in the damn garbage disposal on your sink.
Well,
as it runs.
Oh, my communism and socialism. When you pull that election thing for a Democrat, it's pretty much what you're doing. No shit. Yeah, that's what you're doing when it comes to them. You're pulling.
And, the thing is, not all Democrats are bad.
No. Some of them still have ideas.
But the problem that you got, just like with the Republicans, they've got to say the talking points. Just like we started earlier, how Obama knew lowering corporate rates would be better than raising corporate rates, but the optics looks better. And I get it. Everyone's now like lifting John Fetterman up on their shoulders. I still think the guy should not be in the Senate. I still think he has some mental issues. Yeah, he might be working. I'm helping the American people. Cool, great. Yeah, you get one thing. What is it? The blind squirrel finds a nut. Will always find a nut or whatever. So often.
Wow, a blind squirrel will find a nut.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all John Fetterman is. But I was
squirrel and a nut. Yep.
But once again, I would love to see the libertarians come together, actually rally around. Look, we got Dave Krantz. Dave Krantz is an awesome dude.
Absolutely.
We should be really pushing this guy up there And what were Fairfax? Which district?
District 13, House of Delegates.
District 13 here in Virginia. We got John Bloom over in Virginia Beach, but he's we've got put other people. You've got to have different ideas on the table sometimes. Like I said, ballot access, if it's a 5-star voting system, things of that nature, it helps out.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So we're hitting that 50-minute mark. We're past 50 minutes. Oh, wow. But let's see. This Wednesday, special date, because the following week, some things are going on, Veterans Day and all that good stuff. But we're going to be joined live by Steve Nikala, the current LNC chair. If you have questions for the guy, send them in to us. We'll ask him what you send in. Make sure it's good. I'm not just taking weird shots at him or something, being funny. But I guess I would like to hear from our membership and people around the state. This guy, look, and everyone wants to bellyache about if it's Nikala and the Sarwark or the whoever else has been in charge of the LNC in the past. Reality is it's a job that you get paid zilch, zero.
Nada.
And so in turn, if you don't think they're doing a good job, you run for the position and show me what a person can do as LNC chair getting paid zero. I'm not saying he's the best. I don't know who is the best. I mean, even though I've been in the party since 2012, I can't tell you who the best LNC chair is because I've never, but I can tell you I've never seen it this dysfunctional. And I can tell you when it started getting dysfunctional, it's around 17, 18, it got really haywire. We started losing control. We were driving on black ice. But please.
I can tell you who the best LNC chair was. Jim Lark.
I wasn't around during Jim Lark's reign as chair. And it's just because I like the man and he does a lot of good for the Libertarian Party. I don't know what word did he, how would I wouldn't rate. I don't want to say he's the best because I don't know the rest.
I understand that, but if you look back in old stuff, watch old conventions when he was chairing it, he definitely had more control than most and had more people in the middle with him and not doing what they're doing these days. Yeah.
All right, my friend. I guess we will call it a night. Once again, everyone that's watching, please go to Maximum Libertarian. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell. Hit the share button. Give us a thumbs up. What else? Smash the like button. And follow us on, listen to our podcast every week. And I guess that is it for the night. I guess if you're in a state that's voting, if you see someone on there to vote for, go vote. If you don't like them, whatever.
And just remember this: if you're in a state where it's Democrat versus Republican, just remember who's hurting you right now. That's all I gotta say.
And if there's a Libertarian on the ballot,
or a Libertarian,
change the system. Damn. That's how you break the cycle. Is quit rewarding the two-party system with your vote. So until next time, I am Brian. That's Dean, and we will see you later. Good night.